Do you like shiny things? Me too. That's why today I will rank every single talisman by how aesthetically pleasing I find them. Hello everyone, I'm Lost.
And I'm Thumby, the assistant.
Oh, you can go, Thumby. I don't need you for this one.
But I wasn't in the last video either and I got lonely and sad.
Ugh, fine.
Yay.
A couple of ground rules before we begin. The actual usefulness of the talismans will not be taken into account. This is about presentation and vibe.
There are a fair number of similar talismans in Elden Ring. These will be dealt with as part of a group.
And lastly, I have given 3 talismans a perfect score in this video. Guess which ones down in the comment section. Crimson Amber Family. These are fine, I suppose, but I do think the carving in the center makes all the talismans look a bit busy. Too much visual noise. 4 out of 10. Warrior Shard and the Shard of Alexander. This is meat taken from one or several corpses glued to a stone plate. Alexander's version has little tiny red Radon hairs on it. Thank you so much. I hate it. 2 out of 10. Crusader's Insignia. A hand grasping a spear with wild flame surrounding it. It's really cool and also a symbol of Mesmer's attempted genocide. 8 out of 10. Graven Mass and Graven School Talisman. These are a depiction of the punishment one receives for going against the wishes of the Academy. Your soul is pressed into a singular space, together with other offending people whose thoughts and despair now merge with your own. One consciousness bleeding into another, an intermingled choir of pain. It's kinda cool. 9 out of 10. Prince of Death's Pustule and Cyst. It looks wet. Goddamn, we could have gotten a cool skull or something for the Death Prince, but no! We get a detachable cyst. 1 out of 10. The Erd Tree's Favor Family. It's a woman pouring juice on the floor. Seems a bit wasteful, honestly, but it is stylish as hell. I like the simplicity of the base talisman and the details on the +2. Unfortunately, the +1 version looks a bit like it doesn't know what it wants to be, enveloped in its own indecisiveness. 7.9 out of 10. The Crimson and Cerulean Seeds. I prefer the base version of these talismans as I don't feel the finger element really contributes much. Brings it down a bit, honestly. 5 out of 10. The Blue Dancer's Charm. A simple and elegant simulacrum of a dancing person. The flowing lines gives the talisman a nice illusion of movement. 8 out of 10. Drake and Dragon Crest Talismans. There are 23 of these, but they all look mostly the same, just different colors. I personally prefer the +3 square ones, but the triangle looks nice as well. Overall, I give these a combined 6 out of 10. Of course, there is one more talisman that belongs with this group. The Golden Braid. Having a lock of someone's hair indicate that you're either really romantic or a serial killer. Or both, I suppose. Either way, I really like it. 9 out of 10. Aged One's Exaltation. Who doesn't love the enthusiasm of an elderly abomination? 8.5 out of 10. Blessed Dew and Blessed Blue. These are almost identical aside from the color of its central stone. Honestly, I think the Blessed Blue had way more potential, with the blue being a nice contrast to the golden hue of the pendant proper, but unfortunately, the stone is so small that the color doesn't get to have much impact. It's still neat. 6.5 out of 10. Two-handed talisman. Something about this talisman bothers me. It's hard to explain exactly why, but it reminds me of my father's disapproving stare when I told him I was going to do YouTube. 4 out of 10. Twin Blade Talisman. I love mysterious figures in cloaks, I really do, but the Twin Blade's proportion looks a bit off and weird. 6 out of 10. Curved Sword Talisman. It's fine, I guess. It might just be me not vibing with the character depicted, but I can't give it more than 4.5 out of 10. Sacrificial twig. It's a stick. Boring, but not offensive. 3 out of 10. Ailment talisman. It looks like a sick baby. Very demure. 7 out of 10. Ancestral spirit. I never realized that it's a horn that grows spooky ghost flowers. That's nice. 8 out of 10. Arrow's reach, soaring sting, and normal sting talisman. These two look incredible, but the standard sting version looks very much like the Walmart equivalent. That's gonna drag it down a bit. 7 out of 10. Deidikar's Woe. This is a depiction of a lady who got her face ripped off, but all I see is a sleepy zombie in desperate need of lip balm. It's cool in that semi-disturbing kind of way. 6 out of 10. The Arsenal Charms. While they don't see much use, I do feel like the minor Arsenal Charms have a certain vibe to them. They are rough and rugged, perfect for men who need to wear trinkets to assert themselves as masculine. Nothing beat the Great Jar's arsenal though, it's just such a banger. 8.2 out of 10. Assassin Cerulean and Crimson Dagger. I know it's supposed to be a depiction of an assassin's knife, but it looks so impractical. Why would they use one of those over something more streamlined? I do appreciate the colors though. 5 out of 10. Axe Talisman. If you're into Vikings, you can probably bump the score up a point. For me, this is a 6 out of 10. Beloved Stardust. I'm having difficulties deciding whether I find this beautiful or repulsive. It's a bit shriveled, but it carries itself with a certain dignity. 7 out of 10. Blade of Mercy. I like what this talisman is going for, a sort of implied menace. I just don't think it nails it properly. 5.2 out of 10. The blue and red feathered brand sword. There is a certain mysterious quality to these talismans. I also really like the contrast of the iron amulet and the feathers. 8 out of 10. Bull Goat Talisman. You probably can't see this in-game, but now that it's close up, I can make out a small goat face on the base of the talisman. Look, I don't care that I am biased. I love goats. 9.5 out of 10. Carrion Filigreed Crest. This crest simply exudes nobility. It's ornate without going over the top. Elegance done right. 9 out of 10. Cerulean Amber Medallion Family. While I don't think I have ever worn any of these talismans due to how useless they are, I really do like the design. In contrast to the Crimson version, the central tier design really works well with the rest of it, making it feel more balanced. 6.5 out of 10. Clarifying Horn Charms. You can argue that these are fairly different from each other and deserve their own separate spot on this list. But when have I ever listened to you? The base version, while it looks a bit like a fishhook, has beautiful colors, a magical flower which is starting to spring from the pointy end of the talisman, and a simple yet elegant pattern carved into the base of it. The +1 version gets busy. It adds another horn and hides the nice pattern with a piece of fur. And the +2 version, well, it makes me think of a particularly painful case of hemorrhoids. It starts out great, but by the end, it's a mess. 5 out of 10. Claw Talisman. Edgy, but in a good way. 7 out of 10.
Companion Jar. I think this is really cute. Hey Lost. Can I get this as my Christmas present?
Me not stabbing you will be your Christmas present.
Oh, right. 8 out of 10.
Concealing Veil. I can't explain why exactly, but I really vibe with this one. Thematically, it's perfect, and the embroidered choke at the base lets the fabric flow dynamically down. 9.6 out of 10. Creepus Vile. This might just be my favorite so far. I love the contrast of the bright metal ornament and the dark mist within the glass. The fact that it's a tiny bottle also adds to its mystique. This is a 10 out of 10. Crucible Feather Talisman. Ugh, this looks like you ripped the wings of a deformed chicken. It's also not fastened to the metal ring in any way, they just stuck one of the wings through the hole. 4 out of 10. Crucible Knot Talisman. We've seen flayed faces on this list that look more pleasant than whatever this is. 3 out of 10. Crucible Scale Talisman. I don't know if I agree with classifying that as a scale, but it does carry a certain organic symmetry to it, and it's not repulsive like the other ones, so 5 out of 10. Dagger Talisman. While anything that reminds me of white-faced Vare would generally get a lower score, I really like the clean design here, with the neutral yet menacing face and the dagger. 7.5 out of 10. Dried Bouquet. Moistless flowers. Who doesn't love that? 9 out of 10. Enraged Divine Beast. Another high-quality carving. The flowing mane of hair really makes you feel like it's the genesis of a tempest, and the piercing white eyes combined with the open mouth of the beast work so well. 9.2 out of 10. Faithfuls and Flock Canvas Talismans. A simple but powerful depiction of people and their faith. 6.9 out of 10. Crucible Feather Talisman. Looks more like an insect wing to me rather than an actual feather, but whatever. 4.5 out of 10. The Scorpion Charms. It's a bit basic compared to other things on this list, but I like scorpions. 6 out of 10. The Trick Mirrors. They call it a mirror, but it doesn't look like me. If it was me, I would give it a 10, but since it's not me, it will have to settle for a 7 out of 10. Godfrey Icon. It's a great carving, but Godfrey looks like he's coughing up a lung, and Sharosh looks like he wants to eat it. 7 out of 10. Godskin Swaddling Cloth. For all we know, this might have been made using someone's ballsack. It's gross. Just no. Out of 10. Gold and Silver Scarabs. As far as bugs go, scarabs might be the coolest ones. 8 out of 10. Great Shield Talisman. It looks so awkward. The shield is in a position that doesn't quite match the hand, especially considering that the shield is supposed to be great. It's not great. 4 out of 10. Green Turtle and Double Turtle Talisman. I'm confused. All I see is dogs. Not applicable. Hammer Talisman. Badass knight wielding a cool hammer. What's not to love? 7 out of 10. Immunizing Horn Charm. Just like before, the base version looks nice. +1 version looks a bit busy, but somehow works better than the Clarifying Horn Charm equivalent. And the +2 version, well, it looks like something that would give you disease rather than protect you from it. 4 out of 10. Kindred of Rots Exaltation. I didn't notice this before, but it looks like someone inserted a bowed steel rod into the shrimp man's anal cavity and pushed it so far that it comes out of his mouth before creating a complete circle. Holy shit. 8 out of 10. Lacerating Crossed Tree Talisman. Perfect for anyone who enjoys the more minimalist organic designs. 7 out of 10. Lance Talisman. The horse looks great, but the knight looks like he has fused into the animal. The more I look, the more I'm bothered. 4 out of 10. Longtail Cat Talisman. It's a shame that this talisman is practically useless, because it exudes a kind of innocence that we don't get much in the lands between. It looks like it was made by someone who just started figuring out how to make things look nice. 6.5 out of 10. Lord of Blood's Exaltation. We all wore this the day Moog beat the allegations. It's a powerful symbol, and it has only grown since. 8.5 out of 10. I'll be honest, until I fought Mesmer, I thought these things would be squishy, but apparently they are made of some kind of glass-like material. That makes them far less gross. 8.5 out of 10. Millicent's prosthesis. A hand grasping for something is a powerful symbol. What is it that she yearns for? The ability to choose her own destiny, perhaps? Or maybe a penis? Anyways, 7 out of 10. The Moon of Noxtella. I particularly like how the precious gemstones inserted into this necklace are there to frame and enhance the moon. I'm a bit curious why the inhabitants of a city underground chose to worship the moon, but that's just me. 8.6 out of 10. The mottled necklaces. Look, we've been here before. Base version, messy but still pleasing to look at. +1 version, messy to the point of distracting. +2 version, messy to the point that it looks like something that you would need to have surgically removed. 4 out of 10. Old Lord's talismans. This one is fantastic. The 4 intermingled heads, the 4 wings layered on top of each other, and that tiny opening that allows you to see just enough to make you curious. 9.2 out of 10. The heirlooms. There are 5 of these, all of them carved into a block seemingly made out of gold. We'll look at them all separately. The 2-finger version seems like it has been carved by an amateur. 4 out of 10. The Star Scourge version looks much better, with Radahn showing his might by holding back a meteor. 7.4 out of 10. The Stargazer version is a depiction of Greg the Mage looking up towards the sky. It's cute. 6 out of 10. The Prosthesis Wearer's version has 2 gentlemen on the battlefield shaking hands in mutual respect. 7 out of 10. And lastly, the Outer God Heirloom has a group of people worshipping either an undefinable creature from the void or a melted candle. 7 out of 10. Pearl Shield Talisman. It's a knight holding up a shield that looks a bit like a window. While pearls might not be the best thing to use as a primary building block for your shield due to its soft nature, it does certainly look cool. 6 out of 10.
Perfumer's Talisman. I wanted to make a joke about how they look like a trio of testicles, but Lost hasn't given me permission to do jokes yet. 6.5 out of 10.
Verdigris Discus. While not ugly, it is very bland, I guess. Not something that you would notice unless it was pointed out. 4.8 out of 10. Primal Glintstone. This thing is found in a chest that is locked behind a magical barrier, probably been there for a while. So why is there blood on it? That aside, it looks super cool. I think the black threads or hair or whatever that is somewhat distracting, but it's still a solid, good-looking talisman. 8.5 out of 10. Radagon's Icon. This one is for the gays. Look, I can't explain it, it just feels very gay to me. Not that that's a bad thing, they deserve a little representation. 9 out of 10. Relana's Cameo. I don't know where to begin because it's all so fantastic. The badass image of Relana, the color contrast between the blue and white, the overall shape, it looks so good. Imagine having this as a pin on your jacket or something. I'd use it every day. 10 out of 10. Ritual Shield Talisman. It certainly looks nice. However, I wouldn't be surprised if people didn't get that it was supposed to depict a shield if they didn't know the name. 5 out of 10. Ritual Sword Talisman. No such confusion with this one. Strong 6 out of 10. Roar Medallion. Somehow, this image being covered in rust makes it more powerful. 8.1 out of 10. Rotten Wing Sword Insignia. Is it sad that I didn't register the fact that that's Malenia's hand holding her blade until now? Probably. I like the representation of her wings in this. It looks wild. 7 out of 10. Winged Sword Insignia. It's not as powerful when it's not covered in gross stuff, both in effect and visually, so 6 out of 10. Shabriri's Woe. Something about this reminds me of my uncle. Emotional Trauma out of 10. Sharpshot Talisman. Powerful and clean. 8 out of 10. Shattered Rock. It's a rock! I can understand someone carrying this around if they were the ones to break it by punching it or something. A certificate of their manliness, if you will. But to me, it's just a broken rock. 3 out of 10. Smithing talisman. The overall shape of this thing doesn't do much for me. However, the molten power you can see through the tiny cracks of it does give it a sense that it's brimming with power. 7.2 out of 10. Spear talisman. This exudes good energy. 6 out of 10. Stalwart horn charm. Ugh. We've been through this 3 times already. You get the deal. 4 out of 10. Taker's cameo. I love the little skeleton with his arm crossed. That guy has some attitude. There are actually tons of little details that I love here, like the snake on the right and the hands grasping for the skeleton on the left. I like the depiction of Rykard as well, but honestly, if the skeleton boy had gotten the center spot, then I think this would have been another 10 out of 10. But as it stands, 9 out of 10. Talisman of all crucibles. This just reminds me of cancer. 2 out of 10. Talisman of Lord's Bestowal. Godfrey was popular enough to get depicted in several talismans. This one is pretty good, but it lacks an it factor. 6.5 out of 10. Talisman of the Dread. Oh shit. Talk about it factor. The igneous rock, the sharp edges, and the still burning flames gives this depiction of Bale big piss off energy. Show this to Eigen and he will soil himself several times over, I bet. He'd still probably fight though. He's a good boy. 9.8 out of 10. Viridian Amber Medallion family. Not as bad as the Crimson version, but not better than the Cerulean. 5 out of 10. Saint Trina's smile. Oh, it's the smile that really gets me. I love the flowing hair and the powerful purple color. It's my favorite color. But her gentle smile in combination with the hidden eyes give her such a mysterious quality. 10 out of 10. And that's it. Did you agree with my assessment? I don't care, but please let everybody else know down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much. Kisses.